again, YouTube. This is Dr. Kendo, and we're here with another Scribblenauts Unlimited object editor commentary. Yes, of course, in this game, we're going to be creating King Round, or K Round, if you want to call it, from Deltarune, ladies and gentlemen. And we're also going to be doing another creation a little bit later on. You know who it is if you're looking at the title, the description, the thumbnail, and all that goodness. A male dancer as the source object. This is an amazing source object to use. You're going to see if you've seen other episodes in this series, basically, you are going to see that we've used the male dancer as a source object several times. Fifth page of that color texture pattern library has a checkerboard kind of, I guess, color pattern to it. And so after that, you give it that red shade. It's like a reddish pink, of course. I just hit the mic, sorry. And we're going to go with an Amazon. Of course, you want the person Amazon, not the place. And take that back leg right there. So the good thing about this K round is that this is kind of interesting, actually, is we're going to be creating it almost basically as C round. So that's, you know, you could use this design completely for C round, and then you're going to see that we're actually going to give him a crown to wear on his head, and that's going to make him K round. You are going to see that pretty soon, so definitely you do want to stick around and check out that series of minus signs right there for the face, as well as a mango spear and an eyebrow. Now that's all for the mouth, and the minus signs are for the eyes and the nose and all that goodness. So like you see, you know, it could be C round, K round. We'll just call it K round for now. As we go into the properties editor right here, we're just getting started, but of course, when I get to this part of the video, I love to read background information and fun facts about whatever we create in this series, so let's do this. Obviously, for those who have played Deltarune, you'll know that K round refers to King Round, a mini-boss who is basically a stronger variant of a C round. Lancer says that it usually, quote-unquote, crushes people to death. Now, if you'd like, you can make it shoot out stars or something for the star particles in its star kick attack, but you can also just leave the weapons tab on default just to attack regularly. But what's going to be much more important, I would say, is the scripting that relates to the main story occurrence when K Round loses the crown. You clearly know we created this character right now without the crown directly attached as just all one object, because we'll do a lot of scripting and create a simple separate crown that can get equipped and worn by our K Round and Scribblenauts here. So the script basically will need to look as follows, and I'll show this all on screen, of course, as we're explaining it, but basically script it for when this object equips an object, and then use the filter on equips an object so that it just applies to royal items. You can type in crown there for the filter, and it'll come up with many general categories for you to choose from, and I felt that royal items would be good for this. So next, after equips an object, the script will be then it will add an adjective and make that adjective either big or huge, depending on what size you really want for your character to turn into. Then you'll want a brand new script, so when this object unequips an object, and make that also filter for royal items, and then it will remove an adjective and remove the huge adjective, so you'll need to type in huge, and lastly, just wait a set time if you'd like. But then, of course, this is important right here, add an adjective and make that adjective be legless. So basically, K Round will lose its legs when a royal item, the crown, is removed. But obviously it will gain the adjective of huge or big when it equips the crown. So here you can see that we're just finishing that all up. If you want one last look at those scripts right here, of course, you've got equips an object, add an adjective. I did huge, unequips, removes the adjective huge, wait to set time, and we'll add the adjective legless. Now, a set time, that's just a set amount of frames. So 18 frames, that'll go really quick, like that. Now, certainly, of course, before we show off like a separate crown and everything, you can create the character as K Round, all as one thing. You know, if you don't want to have the whole crown script and you want it to just look like this. Now, another leg you could actually use is Humpty Dumpty to kind of get those accurate like curves, but the problem is with the curvy legs like that, which look kind of the right shape, the problem is you've got all these lines in the Humpty Dumpty. You know, he's got the shoe line, the sock line, and where the pants are, so it's like that wouldn't be accurate for all those black lines that get included on there, I guess I would say. But this also, again, this will have the crown already on it, and it will solve one issue though. This game, Scribblenauts Unlimited, it actually is kind of limited sometimes, and you're about to find out why. So here, like you can see, our C, wow, my Eevee is still huge. We created Eevee in the last episode, which had some Deltarune characters. You guys gotta see that. I will link to it in the description and probably at the end of this video. But anyway, here's like a simple crown. You know, we use like some shoulder bone. Whoa, okay, so you see there, we we equipped it, and the crown is way too big, right? So, like, that's one thing you're gonna have a limit on is even if you create the crown as a separate object as the smallest possible thing, like make it the smallest you possibly can, it'll still come out really big, like not proportionately right. Now, we do also want it to be sitting on his head in the right way, I guess, so I did need to turn on these green grids that can show, you know, our K round technically doesn't have a head right now, even though its head is basically in the body. And so I moved that green grid where the head is supposed to go just up a little bit, because otherwise that crown would be on his head way too low, basically. So here, the K crown, I've made it as small as possible right here. Now look at this. So you see, he does equip the crown and it becomes huge, but the problem is the crown itself becomes huge as well, and you cannot change that. It's, you know, I tried to script it actually so that the crown would remove all adjectives on it and stuff like that, but look at that, the script does work for when you remove it though, and of course you can just take off the adjective to the crown of huge once it's off like that, and it goes back down to the size it probably should be. But look at him, he's legless. If only he could be rolling around like that. Wait, so that looks good. Oh, it's because, okay, so right now the crown actually looks kind of right because the character doesn't have the legs or anything. It makes it proportional with the character. So like, you know, if you have a really small character and you make them both huge, they're both gonna be just as huge. But like our Eevee is already huge right now. If we like put the crown on that, it would be proportional to the character that's already on the map. I don't know if that makes sense on the level. But you guys, we gotta create another object. You guys were requesting things down in the comments down below, and that's how basically I choose each week what gets created and what doesn't. Is you guys ask for stuff, and whatever's most popular, most requested down in the comments section down below is what gets created. And again, that's just a way that I can achieve basically pleasing the most amount of people in a short amount of time, you know, with one video. So of course we did start out with a boy as the source object. You can start out with really most humans or humanoids, but a boy is good just because it's short and it will get us the, I guess, proportions that we want for our next creation, which is going to be Pikachu. You're going to see that we've got the head and the body separately right now. We are going to do that because we would run out of stamp space if we didn't do that. That's another limit, of course, in Scribblenauts Unlimited, is that you are actually, you're given a limit to how many stamp pieces you can put on to create your object overall. So like we had the pecan, or pecan if you come from a different part of the world, pecan feet down there with eggs as the legs down there. For Pikachu on the body side, a Z is to start off that tail with the brown part, and we also had a Mora, the Mora monster, for the arms, both the front and the back, and we used a fingernail right now for some of those lines there. You know, Pikachu's got those two brown stripes on its back. This is gonna look like the male Pikachu. You probably could make a female Pikachu just by putting a heart on the end, the heart shape, but I'm gonna go with the trapezium right here and use the trapezium at the end of its tail, and that's gonna look pretty good, but we are gonna need to move things around quite a bit on this body object of our Pikachu right here. We're almost done though, but we got the head, and that had an alien's body, and that alien torso was actually also for Pikachu's body, so it's interesting. We used it for the head, kind of main shape of the head, as well as for Pikachu's body. It's a nice shape if you need like something to have just some cheeks, you know, it's like that. It has that little part of it, I guess, protruding out just slightly. And so toothpicks are going to be now used for the Pikachu head, the end of its ears, which were the plesiosaurus piece. There was neck pieces of the plesiosaurus. Anyway, you guys are going to see how to create that on screen while I read some background information and fun facts. And believe it or not, we actually have created Pikachu before, so we'll talk about that. But I do hate to come right out the gate like this, but I'm not a big, huge fan of Pikachu, mostly because of the anime. I feel that they overused Pikachu and made it win against usually impossible odds most of the time. Ash's Pikachu. It's nothing too bad. I just kind of prefer many other Pokemon over Pikachu. How about we say that? I think that that's better. Anyway, as of course I just mentioned in this episode, we did make Pikachu in the infancy of this series, though. It was way back in episode 17 in April of 2013. So yes, many, many years ago. I definitely feel this will be an improvement looking at it now. The behind the scenes info then was controversial in that episode because I did discuss how Pikachu's name is inspired by a Pika animal. Yes, I realize that that's not the inspiration that Game Freak and people like series producer Satoshi Tajiri will give. They obviously say what most of the people were saying to me in the comments, and some of them being very rude when they said it to me, but they obviously say, of course, Pikachu's name comes from the word Pika, a sound that an electric spark makes, and Chew, which they say is the sound that a mouse makes. The thing is, it's obvious to anyone with eyes and a brain that there is a species of mammals called a Pika and is clearly rodent-looking, although is closest related to a rabbit or hare. Pikachu is in the Pokédex as the mouse Pokemon. It's all related, you know what I mean? So it may not have been like the thing that they came out and said, Pikachu's name means this, but because there is a Pika out there, it makes perfect sense sense, you know what I mean? It's like Caterpie. Caterpie is a caterpillar, but Pikachu's a mouse. I don't know what we're saying at this point. Let's connect the head and the body. I can already tell you right now, just looking at this, the head is gonna be way too big. Look at that. The Pikachu head is just definitely ginormous compared to the body. Well, not that huge, I guess, but we do need to shrink it down a little bit, which we're gonna do. So let's do it. Just basically go back into the object editor for the head. Now, you do want to make sure, of course, when you put the head into the hands of the body object, you do need your head object to be scripted as can be worn on the face like glasses. So under the equipment tab, you can do that. But look, there's my Eevee from last episode, and there's our new remake Pikachu. And of course, Pikachu does walk on 2 legs. It runs on all 4. So if anybody does have some kind of controversy over that, it is not always on 4 legs, basically. And it can even be seen doing attacks. I play Pokemon like crazy, you guys. My entire Twitch channel is about Pokemon. Of course, that's twitch.tv/DRKENDO. Usually I don't ask you guys always to go follow over there because it's not family-friendly content all the time. But if you're okay with that, then certainly go follow if you like Pokemon content. Usually Pokemon Go and Let's Go is what I put over there. Look at this, a Piplup battle, of course, but the thing that I'm noticing is, obviously, this is the unfortunate other limitation in Scribblenauts. There are plenty of them, which is funny, of course. It is called Scribblenauts Unlimited because of unlimited imagination. But it is mainly that it actually is quite limited. We got Eevee in the fray too, man. Look at all this. Oh, crap. Okay, now Pikachu's attacking Eevee. All right, let's just let it happen. I mean, Pikachu, what I was going to say is that Pikachu is unable to hit. Actually, coming out victorious. It's just like the anime. Pikachu, well, it would beat Piplup, I would say. And Pikachu could beat Eevee, probably. It just depends on their movesets and their levels, you know. Here it is, of course, against our King Round creation right there with the huge crown. You can script Pikachu to actually be on your back, like a backpack, if you wanted to. You could do it on the head, like can be worn on the head like a hat if you wanted. And anyway, we'll do this like triple Pokemonception here. We're gonna ride on the back of Eevee, Pikachu's gonna ride on the back of me, and then of course, Team Kendo's blasting off again. Ding! But yes, I have loved Pokemon ever since Gen 1. I'm a Gen 1 believer. But let's say that you guys want to see more Deltarune characters, more Pokemon characters. Well, I'm going to point you right here to this end screen. It's going to be on screen right now. So definitely check that out where we made Susie, Jevil, as well as Eevee. And then, of course, I would love if you subscribed. And I will catch you guys on the next vid. And thanks for viewing. Also, happy Thanksgiving. I love all of you and I'm so thankful for you. So thank you. I hope that you enjoy time with your families or whoever.
And down the road